Fantastic. My name is Curtis, and morning, everybody. Um, this is a new show that I just created just this minute, or over the last few days. As you can see, there we go. There's a logo and an intro and all that stuff. So it's a real show. You can't say that it's not because whatever you want to be as a show is a show. That's how you know because you're seeing it or you're listening to it or you're whatever partaking in it, and that's what it means. It's a show. So I'm not doing this wrong, no matter what anybody says. Hey, YouTube comments, go nuts. I don't care. Um, I just want, I just want morning, everybody, to wake up, regardless of whatever time of day that is that you get up, be it the morning or late afternoon or when it's dark by the light of the moon. But I want people to roll up out of bed and and then get their day started with me. I mean, I don't know. Is that crazy? See, multiple cameras. That makes it a real show. This one is a little laggy and sometimes a little box appears. I'll get that figured out. So we won't use this camera as much, but it's pretty fun to turn over here and be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then back over here and, "Hey, it's still me." And then, if I end up doing a weird little thing where I'm having a conversation with myself, I can jump back and forth, much like I did with my other video game presentation show where I had a crazy, let's call it a vagina puppet, telling you about the video game that I made. So this show, it's basically a morning show. I've never seen Good Morning America, but this is just like Good Morning America. You know how I'm going to say Matt Lauer and Katie Couric? I'm sure they're not there anymore, and they haven't been for many years. Or maybe they were. Could be a different show. Al Roker? Is he a Good Morning America? I don't know. I think that's a thing. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they sit amongst all their stuff with their morning smoothie that they made, full of vegetables and fruits, and they work all of the camera gear and set up all of the stuff all on their own. And there's not a studio full of people running around like crazy. And they put the lamp there that's blinding them, and they put the lamp there that's blinding them. They didn't have a lighting crew. That's how Good Morning America works. But anyway, the shows that are like Good Morning America, as near as I can tell, they're for the most part, I just want to say, like, regular people. Like, they're just people. And I don't know, growing up, I always thought, like, the people on TV, they're on TV for a reason because they have TV powers. Somebody, that appointed them of that. I don't know. I don't know what was the reason for people doing a show. And then one day I listened to this guy, Todd Glass, and he was talking about how much he just needed to do shows. In this case, it was stand-up comedy. Just perform, skits, whatever you want to call it. Like, I just want to entertain people. So I loaded up some big speakers in my Jeep, hooked up an amp and a microphone, and I would back my Jeep up to people at the beach. I would get out, unfold the back of the Jeep, set up the speakers, and stand there and do a little show for these people who didn't ask for it. I don't think he would put out a hat to look for donations. He was just doing a show, and that made it a show. And again, in the world, in the time and space that we share with the existence of a Seinfeld, that is a show. It's a show about what? People being terrible people, or just lazy, or whatever. And I can be lazy. I can not have all the facts. I can ramble on for time and time again between the weather and the news segment about whatever it is, some cat stuck in something else, because that's what it is. So anyway, all these morning news shows, they're just people in suits trying to fill time because they have to. I don't have to fill time, and I don't have a suit, but I want to fill time, and maybe someday I'll get a suit. I don't know. There's this guy at work a long time ago. He just decided, I'm just gonna wear suits from now on. I'm gonna be that guy that wears a suit. And I thought that's amazing. Like, you look like a suit guy now. You look like you could be dangerous or important or so many things, trustworthy for sure, or maybe criminal. Either way, you've just added 65 layers of interest to who you are, and I'm just like, yeah, well, someday maybe I'll do that. I'll wear grown up clothes and be like Mirko. But I don't know. I feel like I don't have the face. I don't have the head for a suit. It just looks silly. I don't know. Maybe this looks silly, but this is how I feel comfortable. This is the show? No, this isn't the show. This is me talking about the show, which is what you're not supposed to do on any show. Is get all meta on it, whatever that means, because it doesn't mean metaphorical, metaphysical, inside out, inception-y. So this show will be topical, just like all those other shows and the morning shows and the Conans and the I don't know, Jay Leno. He's not doing it anymore. You know who I'm talking about. All those people that do shows. And when I think about topicality, the word topical being topical, you can make the word topical topical. Literally, the last 3 times I've listened to the regular news, I don't know, the radio, people that are just there to give me information that I need to know because it's new and needs to be known. It was, hey, Selena Gomez is at the top of Instagram. So if I needed to know anyone was in any sort of standings, it definitely wasn't from Instagram. Instagram takes care of itself, news. You don't need to report on it. It's already doing the thing that it does. So that's weird between the weather and the death report and the people who are going to prison for exposing their genitals at the local Walmart. I guess it's on the lighter side, and then they swing over to like, hey, let's listen to what's Ryan Seacrest had to say about Twitter etiquette. Like, oh hey, you're only supposed to, not Twitter, Instagram etiquette. You're only IE. You're only supposed to Instagram like twice a day, and anything beyond that, that's annoying and weird. And I agree to a certain extent, but sometimes people put stuff on Instagram and it's like, awesome, I actually want to see more. So you can't put an etiquette, you can't put a rule. The same way with all these etiquette books that existed in the 50s, I don't know, the 60s maybe, where specifically women were taught to live and act a certain way. That was etiquette. That was how you're supposed to live and be in order to be a reasonable person in the world. And now we know that not doing 90% of those things makes you an individual, and people can relate to you better because you're not acting like a weird Stepford robot. I don't know. So, topics. If I'd done this, I don't know, a couple months ago and said, hey, let's talk about Pee Wee Herman for a minute, be like, again? Like, that's from like the mid to late 90s, and then again maybe in the 2000s, but that's it. Like, enough with that guy already. Like, you can't be talking about Pee Wee Herman. But just yesterday, I think that's when it arrived, I don't know, but that's when I watched it, a new Pee Wee Herman movie, Netflix produced in accordance with, in association with Judd Apatow and of course Paul Rubens and Paul Rust. And Paul Rubens wrote the movie, and Paul Rust I'm also just a huge fan of. I think he's really funny. And all right, cool. Like, I honestly, my hopes weren't super high after the last special, I think for HBO that they did. I was pretty much like, oh, that's it. That's all Mr. Rubens has in this Pee-wee lexicon of his. It's not. It just doesn't keep going. It's done. And I was, other than the fact that it was like, I think in order to prep for the new Pee-wee, we watched an old episode, and that random old episode had everything that was in this new hour-long special or 2-hour special, whatever it was. And that was, I don't know, it was just like, oh, cool, I just saw this. And now you're all older and weirder looking and on a stage, and this is weird. This is just weird. Maybe this just isn't how it was supposed to be. Not for me, anyway. So the movie loads up, and within seconds I'm just like, well, this is it. This is Pee-wee's Big Adventure. This is watching the old show. This is all the great stuff that I that I used to know. And yeah, that's the other thing about the show is occasionally I just rhyme. Sometimes I rhyme as a book that I wrote. You can go, I'll throw the link in the description below. It's a book of poetry and drawings because when I get nervous, I just randomly rhyme, and I promise it's usually not on purpose, but after like the third or fourth one, I lose track of the things I'm supposed to say because all I can hear is my brain going, what rhymes with disassociated? What rhymes with disassociated? Associated? No, that's the same. A boat you made it? No, that's crazy talk. What are we talking about again? I don't remember, brain, because you're busy dealing with rhymes for some reason because you got nervous. Chill out, and we're talking about topics. The topic at hand is an old one that is now a new one because that's what Netflix does. Every old memory begins anew again on Netflix, and I don't know. A lot of people are up in arms against it. A lot of people are excited about it. I have no interest in the Fuller House reboot. No offense to any of those people. I'd rather honestly watch the John Stamos grandfathered show, which still not my favorite. But a Bob Saget show is more what I'm looking for. I don't know. Or the unofficial Lifetime behind the scenes story of Full House. That I think that seemed way more interesting than the Fuller House. No offense, but again, most of the stuff that Netflix does is fantastic. The Oranges and the New Blacks and Arrested Development, and now I forget what the last one was that I really loved, but this new Pee-wee movie. I want to say it was like 10 minutes in. I'm just like, all right, we're watching this as soon as this movie is over again. That's how great this is already. And no, I didn't watch it again right away because, I still remembered it pretty good immediately. But not to give anything away, but maybe this is a spoiler. Maybe this was a reveal. I saw the name in the credits and I'm just like, who is that again? Oh yeah, the True Blood guy. The muscly werewolf. What's his face? Joe Montalongo. Joe Montiango. Cannot remember it. Anyway, he shows up. He seems like the coolest Fonzie in the world. He's changing the music on the jukebox, and then he's mashing up songs on the jukebox just by hitting it, and whatever. It's just everything is just super cool and filmed in such an awesome way that it's just perfect and great. And then they kind of have a bit of an adventure for a good couple of minutes, and then finally he introduces himself to Pee-wee like, you don't know who I am? I'm like True Blood and Magic Mike, like I'm Joe Montalongo, Joe Montiango. Damn it! I should have looked that up before I started doing this. He knows who he is. He's everywhere, and I'm not. So the fact that he was himself, being the coolest guy in the world, was the funniest, greatest thing. That gives away nothing. The rest of the movie, that's where the movie starts. That's your inciting incident that gets the hero on his way in the hero's journey, and then adventure ensues, and it's all fantastic. It's all fantastic. I was really, really skeptical. Like, it's not gonna be funny, right? Like, it's gonna be mostly annoying and weird, and I don't know. Maybe I was in the mood for annoying, weird, funny, but it hit the spot. Speaking of annoying, weird, funny, let's watch a cartoon. I don't know, should I have some kind of lever?
Hey, hi, Ripley. Are you ready? Are you ready to do this? Okay, let's go. The following piece of internet may cause violent outbursts, seizures, political unrest, drowsiness, hunger pains, violent outbursts, spontaneous sexual arousal in ladies between the ages of 28 and 28 and a half. The purchasing of cats. The spaying and neutering of those purchased cats. That's a sad one. More violent outbursts. Some homosexuality. TV VCR repair. Some reverse homosexuality. The purchasing of overpriced merchandise with pictures of an adorable cat on it. Also, handsomeness. And maybe some people will realize that they're not as handsome as certain handsome cats. That should be good. What? We used up all the time on the warning? Why do you ruin everything? Meow. Meow. Yes, I do appreciate your drawings. You are getting very good with holding that pencil and without any thumbs. I have to say I'm very impressed. But I still hate you. La la la.
And we're back. All right, so I don't know. Does that need an explanation? I also make cartoons. Those are fairly old, but I've seen the numbers on them, so you probably didn't see them. One was very old. One was a little more recent. I started doing these cartoons where I'm like, I'm just gonna do tweets as animations, and it will be very short. Maybe they're 144 characters. I never counted, and a lot of them just don't have any dialogue at all. Just something weird, like a little semi-animated comic strip, and then a hashtag to sum it all up. I.e., pigeons don't know that you hate them. And the more I talk, the more my sinuses are filling up at the moment, 'cause winter and pressure systems, and it gets warm and then cold, and my head goes shoo, like a weird space vacuum. I don't know, but. That's why we stop and show cartoons and commercials, so people can take a moment to breathe and stop frantically talking so fast as if I'm running out of time, like this is on a specific timer. It's not. Like I said, this is my show and it can be as long as it wants. Yeah, I guess this show here is basically that cat show that you just watched, except in real life. So this is me, I guess, coming out of the closet and saying, hey, I'm gonna have to be honest with everybody. I'm not a cat. I'm not an animated cat at all. I'm a human boy who has, a human face and, I want to say human glasses. There isn't really any animal glasses to differentiate, so I can just say glasses. But, sometimes you have to grow up a little and accept the fact that I'm not an animated cat at all. You grow up and you see all the people going, oh, this Garfield guy, he's the best. We love Garfield. Well, then I will become him. I will wear him like a skin somehow, and I will make you all love me like you love the Garfield cat. I can be lazy like this guy. I'll sleep. I'll love lasagna. I'll push dogs over. I couldn't get around to the lasagna loving. It's too much spinach. And I don't know. I'm fairly lazy, but of course I am putting together a show. That's not a very lazy thing. I don't enjoy Mondays, but if I had a show to do first thing Monday morning, I think Mondays would be pretty exciting. So I don't know. Milo. So hard to figure out which way this camera's going. So he's basically my Garfield, and he's pretty mean. I don't know. Maybe he's my inner hatred. My brother seems to love him the most, because he's like, oh no, that's my favorite. The part where you do the crazy swearing rapping video with your cat, because I think that's the true inner you, the real dark hateful side. And I don't know. I think maybe there's both. I just think it's funny. I think all those things that he says are funny because it's such nonsense. Anyway, in political news, yeah, because this is still a morning news show. I mean, I say this all the time, but there's a whole like comic book and cartoon series where Lex Luthor runs for president because he's a rich maniac who says crazy things, and I cannot even understand how real it is when Donald Trump does the same thing. Uh, it's too cartoony, it's too crazy. He's literally talking about the size of his penis and how much his wife like. I mean, it's so much like a weird schoolyard fight. Where again, in the Superman universe, in the DC universe, when Lex Luthor is like, I'm gonna tell everybody that this is cool and give them enough money to change their mind, and Superman's like, don't buy, just don't. No, I'm gonna do this, and it's right, and I hate you. Come on, I don't want to. I'm not gonna kill you. So can you just make sense? Like, don't flood half the land so you can own the other half, and don't whatever. All of these plans, just stop. And it always ends with a fist fight of some kind. Either Lex will bring the superpowers down to his level so he can have a reg fight, or he will get some superpowers in some way, shape, or form with machinery or robots or magic, and he will fight Superman on his level. Regardless, the answer never, ever, ever ends up being, hey, makes sense. And then Lex goes, you know what, sidekick? Can't remember her name. He's right. I'm just gonna make sense now. I got all the money, and let me just make some sense. There is one. Let's not even go there. There was one where Lex was like, I'm gonna give this whole town like just free power. It's here, it's safe, and I'm gonna start being an awesome guy. And Superman was like, I don't believe you, and we're gonna fight about it. And then Captain Marvel, or Shazam as he's been changed to or whatever, was like, nah man, it's free power. This is awesome. I'm a 10-year-old boy, really, but you don't know that. Let's fight. No, you don't get it, Billy. I mean, Captain Marvel. This guy's evil. Not anymore. Look at what he did. So they fought and they fought and they fought until they destroyed everything. And I think in the end, it was okay. It was like, other than it was building up to a point where, when he has all the power, he'll be able to turn the Earth into a weapon or something. I don't know. A Death Star. I can't remember that part. But at the head of it, at the beginning, it was, no, look, I'm doing something great. Maybe I have crazy take over the world machinations in the back of my head. But for now, I'm helping people. And I don't know. I feel like that's what people, I mean, a lot of reasonable people or semi-reasonable people are like, no, I like this guy. Like, he really says what he means what he says, and then he's going to do what he means to say to do. You don't, sometimes, just because when people say what they mean, those are the people you don't want doing exactly what they think they should do, because then they end up doing things like this. Like, hey, I'm going to record myself, call it a YouTube show, and then that's what I'm doing. And then I start railing on against, or for, not for, but in to the world about some billionaire. He owns a lot of stuff and places, and I read a lot of comics. Not even a lot of comics, like enough comics to know that this is a comic book story that's happening on such a level, like way beyond the whole, like when people were going after Bin Laden and Saddam Hussein and all of those things where it's like, this is a real, like, this is just like in the books, like this guy's a super villain and needs to be stopped, he's pure evil. At least those guys were like, hey man, here's what I'm doing, it's for these reasons, and you might think it's crazy, but yeah, I think it's awesome, everybody worship me. This guy is like, hey man, no, I'm cool, man. You want to go fight in the street? Because I'm cool and I have a penis. Hey, my hair's real. What are you talking about? Why are you saying these things? Why is anybody listening to this as if it's real words? I'm in Canada. This is what's frightening to me is I feel like we got a lot of awesome stuff in Canada, and I don't want it to be taken away or burned to the ground or bombed. I don't want to wake up some night and have some guy drag me out of my bed and say, "No, no, man, it's all America now. Like it already was America, yeah, but now it's all USA. Like you're all being united by this new doctrine or bill. I don't know. I'm afraid of Americans. I'm afraid of their words. I'm afraid they can't help it. Sad. It's real sad. But I don't know. There's always a bright side in that. I'd like to think, United Nations, and there's enough checks and balances, hopefully, that a Lex Luthor can't really exist in the world. Can a Lex Luthor really exist in the world? Tell me in the comments how he can't, please, because I need to know, and I'm not going to do this research myself, because I'm like the regular morning news shows where you're going to get 3 sentences of news information, then the rest is wild speculation. What? A penguin? He escaped from the zoo? He was wandering around? Well, Susan, I hope no penguins end up in my backyard, 'cause I love chicken and I just might cook them up on the barbecue. No, you won't. Why would you do that? What's wrong with you? Why does every news person talk about every escaped animal as if it's going to be eaten 5 minutes from now? I'm not going to do that, alright? That's over there on that camera. That's the most I'm going to do about that. Because, I don't know, other than when it's the apocalypse, yes. Yes, a dog might get eaten. Cats, I don't know. They don't look very foody. You know? What are we talking about now? So anyway, those are the topics for today. They were topical because we just talked about them, and now they're in your head. So there you go. All I need is like more than one person to be on the topic, and then it's topical. I mean, what is it? 10,000, 50,000, then it's a trend, and then after that it's an infestation, and you can't get rid of it. Like I don't know, Janet Jackson, Paula Abdul. Which one's nipple fell out? Or Bieber's wiener, or Miley Cyrus's anything she does, which again, totally fine with. She's fine. Everybody, who cares what Miley Cyrus does? Like, I'm so jealous that she can afford to do anything, and then people's biggest problem is always, she's having fun again. She doesn't have to be in school tomorrow, guys. Hannah Montana was a long time ago. She doesn't have to be at work. You already pay her bills. It's cool. It's cool, man. Just be good, be careful. And morning, everybody. Hey, click on my butt or Ripley's butt to subscribe. Click on my butt. Click on my butt. Click on my butt.